Hi all, Hipper here. So today we've reached the Alaska and trying out a 6-time rudder stack build here. So first I of course have the 2 rudder modifications here in upgrade slot 2 and 3. And I obviously run sonar and radar on Alaska here. That's a no-brainer. So let's have a look here. 2.9 seconds rudder. We have finally pushed this ship into the real agile area below 3 seconds. But look at that turning circle radius there and 37 knots. So it, in theory, it gets there. But look at the artillery here. And this is with Ingenious perk. I still have nearly 26 second, 180 turn time. And a reload time of 17 point something crazy. It's just not. It's a cruiser in name, I think, yeah, not impressed. So let's look Kincaid here, and of course I have Takao on as one inspiration, and then I have Baltimore as the other, and all the usual Ingenious and full speed ahead, and Velocious and steer clear and fully packed. So these things together will give you 2.9 seconds rudder on this legendary cruiser here. That will just nudge it into real agile territory rudder wise. Everything else is still very much slow, like I said before. So what I mean is that the speed is disappointing at 37 knots. The turning radius at 850 meters is just ridiculous for a cruiser. It's absolutely, ridiculous is the right word for it. The reload is just as ridiculous at 17 or 18 seconds, depending on your build. And of course you can get it lower than that, but that's not an agile build. Where do we stop with this ship? The turret rotation is with this build here 27 seconds, I think 26, something like that, and that's 3 or 4 seconds slower than the absolute minimum of 23 seconds. So no matter what you do, you can get this cruiser into agile territory with the rudder, yes, but everything else is just it's a losing battle. Now personally I am really tired of only having this cruiser as well as the other American Worcester at legendary tier. I think they suck, and I cannot wait to get my hands on something a little bit more interesting, like Sao or Henri IV. Anything pretty much. Venezia would be very, very nice. Unlikely though, at least for the immediate future. And as you can see here, we're getting a few nice citadels with this ship here. And the one thing I do like about the ship is the guns, because obviously it packs a punch, this cruiser here. But on the other hand, if I can't play this ship as an agile cruiser, which I don't think you should, I'm doing it in this video just to show that you can if you absolutely want to, but it just doesn't perform, unfortunately. So that's why there's really no point playing this cruiser. I mean, yes, you have a radar, but you don't have the reload to really make use of that radar without counting on your team. As you can probably imagine, I'm not a big fan of this ship here. So we have a very brave Jean-Bart here, and unfortunately he gets away with this stunt here. Because I get 2 pens and an overpen. I mean, an overpen on a cruiser at 5 kilometer range to a broadside battleship right in the citadel. Okay. It again plays into I think that I don't know what's going on with the overpen mechanics, but it's just a little bit annoying sometimes, I think. I mean, what that Bart did there, he should not be able to get away with. Definitely not. And it just perpetuates bad gameplay when players realize oh wow, I can get away with stuff like that, and then of course next time they try it they die immediately. It's just inconsistent, and I don't like inconsistent stuff. So is Alaska a bad ship? No, 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 not at all, not at all. Absolutely not. It is a super powerful cruiser, and it has a radar, and it's very tanky. Yeah, it is absolutely not a bad ship. It is an extremely bad agile cruiser, though. Like it's horrible. One of the worst, actually, along with Siegfried and Azuma, along with a few others that I won't name and shame right now. But yeah, Alaska, no go. And even with this full agile build here, where you give up everything else, the ship is not very agile. Like the acceleration is also just sluggish. Is the right word, I think. And yeah, I'm just not impressed with this ship here from an agile point of view. And of course, I understand not all cruisers are supposed to be agile, and that's fine. That's fine. Also, I'm not blaming the ship for not being agile enough. I'm just saying that don't get this ship if you like agile cruisers, or don't get this ship if you intend to put an agile build on it, because there are much better options. I would say pop a Sure Lane Baltimore on this ship here, and then spec into reload, and that's the way to go with this ship here. Sure Lane Baltimore is fantastic on Alaska because you get that reduced AP fuse that probably would have stopped that overpen I had on the Jean Bar before. And when this happened in the game, I was just thinking, oh, I wish I was I was playing with a Sure Lane Baltimore. But as it is, I was trying out a full agile build on Alaska here using Takao. So there's a reason I'm using this build, but it's not something that I probably will do again, unless there's a reason for it. So this Edinburgh here has been annoying the whole match. There he goes. And he's nice and broadside now, and this time I don't get an overpen. Well, I do actually get two, but I still get two citadels. No, one citadel, sorry, and two pens. So, like by doing this, I have now gotten behind enemy lines here in the middle, so I'm able to get at their broadsides by sneaking around here and just making sure I don't expose my own broadside. Of course, I am in a bit of a predicament here because this Georgia here has like this open season on me, and my team is still a few minutes away from being able to take care of him when he's in this position here. So I don't really have any choice than to just sit here and bow tank him and wait it out. So the main reason for this maneuver here, for getting behind this island onto the enemy half of the map, is for this thing I'm going to do now. Because the enemies are obviously gunning for A, and everybody else is on the other half of the map. So it's really hard to keep these guys from actually taking the cap, because we can't really hit enemy ships when they're hiding right behind the islands here, unless someone sacrifices himself to go around the corner. And I mean, so that someone usually being me. But in this case here, I actually preempted this situation here by being able to reset this Georgia here over and over again. So it makes it impossible for him to take the cap. And as long as you can keep the enemies from taking the cap, that's much better than allowing them to take the cap and then retake it, because that takes a long time. And you really have to plan well to be able to do that, especially in a game like this where there's like only about 5 or 6 minutes left. And of course we are ahead, but we cannot allow these guys here to get a cap, because we only have 2 caps ourselves. So that's pretty much the reason I pushed up like this and just pretty much ignored this Jean Bar. But then here you'll see like the Achilles heel of this ship here with an agile build, because it just turns so slowly. you saw just like a few seconds ago I wanted to turn, but then I realized, hey, I'm not in Edinburgh or Wichita or something that's really like a little sports car here. I'm in a huge cruiser that's really long, and there's just not enough room to maneuver in here. And like at this at this moment here, I was perhaps cursing the ship here a little bit. I mean, it's just not a good cruiser for an Agile build. So instead, I just keep resetting this Georgia here. Like, what I really wanted to do was to turn around and challenge him head on, but like, I don't really have a choice, and I just have to shoot at him like this, and it's less than ideal. So now the Alaska and the Kurfürst are pushing, because obviously they are running out of time now, and they are about 200 points behind. So they have to take this cap here if they want to have any chance of winning. So now I'm getting focused by both of them, so I'm going to take off, but not before I just reset them just one more time here. So I'm at 17 defense now, and then now I'm just going to go back and get a little bit of backup from my team, because the Reds are moving into our half of the map, so there's really no point sitting on the other side of the map. It's better to go on this side here and at least have a little bit of backup. Not a lot, but certainly a little bit more than I have on the other side. So you can see here how sluggish the ship is. It took 1,000,000 years to turn, and it took 1,000,000 years to get up to speed. And as you'll see in a minute, it takes 1,000,000 years to turn its turrets. And that's a reason I don't really understand why anyone would pick Alaska really in a game. Because yeah, you have a radar, but every time I want to take Alaska out, I always end up picking Yamato instead. Because it just does a lot more for your team. Of course, the radar is nice to have, but like Alaska can't really capitalize on its radar itself, and relying on your team to shoot a destroyer that you expose with your radar is yeah, it's unreliable at best. I wish there was a command on the wheel that would say I'm about to use my radar or something like that. So at least people could get a heads up, and like the battleships could turn their guns in that direction and stuff like that. I really think that's something that wargaming should think about adding, instead of all the pretty much useless good game and all that stuff. I think we have like 4 or 5 variations of that, and that is unnecessary. We need some useful commands, please. And I would also love to have my swearing back. Like Stone the Crows and all that stuff. I really enjoyed that. And yeah, I miss it, and I wish we get it back. So now we have a carrier and this Alaska here left. And I'm going to duke it out with him. I still have 12,000 health, so I'm relatively confident here. So I'm kind of rushing, because I want to make this guy here my 4th kill before anyone else gets the chance. So I'm going to do what I usually do when I face another ship that's like very similar to my own, and doesn't have torps. And it's basically just like a pretend ram, where instead of ramming, you continue on, and when you get behind the enemy, you just turn all your turrets and whack them in the back. It works really well, except on Alaska, because as you can see, the turrets are just way too slow to keep up with my turning. And honestly, I totally forgot about that. But sooner or later I would have citadeled this guy here, but the torpedoes get him first. But this a demonstration of why an Agile build just doesn't work on Alaska. It's a waste of time and a waste of resources. So I wouldn't try it. Wait for another legendary cruiser that actually works with an Agile build, because this one certainly doesn't. Or it does, but it's disappointing to say the least. So that was Alaska here with a 6-time rudder stack build, the fastest possible. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you out there.